Good morning, YouTube. It is December 14th, 2023, 9:07 a.m. Central Standard Time. It is cold outside. Beautiful. That's how it should be. It's December. Christmas is right around the corner. I actually, it makes my blood boil, being dead serious. It makes my blood boil whenever it's like 65, even pushing 70 degrees in Dallas around this time of the year. And people are like, oh, it's beautiful outside. No, it's fucking not. It's horrible. It should be cold. It should be cold. Now, when we get to like February and we're all kind of tired of the cold, fine, right? It should be cold outside. Yes, my voice is recording. Good to go. We're good to go. Insane night of basketball. I don't even know where to start. Like, there's like 15 different things that would be the lead story any other given night that aren't going to be the lead story today, right? Draymond is suspended indefinitely. Giannis sprints into the locker room to try and murder the Indiana Pacers. Joel Embiid goes off again. The Suns lose the Big Three debut. They lose their first game to a team that has two guys they traded away to get Kevin Durant. The Knicks lose. The Wembanyama goes off. I mean, there was just a lot of shit that happened last night. I'm not going to talk too much about the Giannis thing because I'm doing that later for a video on my channel. And also on top of that, I am kind of confused as to what the hell even happened. Still, like, it's all confusing to me. I feel like people are freaking out about everything. Is Giannis on steroids? He has to be, right? Not that I'm not against it. I'm pro steroid use in sports. I want every athlete to be the best they could possibly be. I want Joe Rogan's out on the floor. I've mentioned this before. I want nipples protruding through shirts. Like, I want it. I want heavy steroid usage, so I don't care. But this feels almost steroid rage induced. Giannis probably has hundreds of game balls. Why does he need another? Dropping 60s isn't that extraordinary these days. Well, it is a career high for him. It is the most points scored by a Bucks player ever. I mean, I kind of understand it. This all seems a little excessive to me because, I don't know. None of it, I mean, maybe, I don't know. So the Pacers had a rookie who scored their first points in the NBA, right? I don't know his name. God bless him. And so they were saying they wanted that ball for him. Which I get, makes sense to me, honestly, right? It does kind of make sense to me. But Giannis wanted that ball. But then I'm confused because Giannis said that he wanted to give that ball to Damian Lillard, who became 5th all time in three-point shooting last night. So I'm a little bit confused by that. Because Damian Lillard didn't seem like he gave a shit at all about it.
The game ball. I think the coach for the assistant coach for the Pacers maybe make sure he's going to get it.
This was excessive. I'm sorry. I think Giannis looks terrible in all of this. I do. This was also earlier in the game. I mean, he flat out shoulder checked Tyrese Halliburton for no fucking reason. He got a physical taunting check. Just really weird. Damian Lillard literally said in the press conference, I didn't think it was that deep. Like, verbatim. Yeah, and then it's game ball gate. It's game. Wait, this is actually hilarious. He thought it was his moment. Yeah, so Giannis checked out of this game. I think a reason why the Pacers were a little bit upset. Giannis checked out of this game with 3:24 left, with 58 points, which was still a franchise record. Pacers were up 19 with 3:20. Bucks were up 19 with 3:24 left. He came back into the game after this. I think the Pacers cut it down to like 10, but he came back into the game after this. Yeah, he scored like I don't remember the exact number. It was like his last 13 points or something. I mean, he still had an insane, regardless, if he set the entire fourth quarter, he had an insane game. But I think it was something like his last 13 points came when the Pacers like pulled all of their starters. I think this is good. I think it's good. They put the starters back in because Ben Shepherd was hitting too many shots. Yeah, I mean, so I'm just telling you why the Pacers were mad. I get it. I mean, 19-point lead in 3:24, that should be a win 100 times out of 100. And I think it is probably. Like the Mavericks blew, what was it, like a 14-point lead, something like that in 3 minutes last year against the Thunder. And it was like the first time that's happened. But once it gets cut down to like 10 with a minute and a half left or 2 minutes left, all right, that's understandable. Yeah, he did shoot 32 free throws in this game. Granted, I've said this before. Like, I think the Bucks get one of the better whistles in the NBA just from watching the games. But I mean, they were hacking Giannis last night. I didn't really leave that game thinking that Giannis got some crazy preferential treatment. Like, he was getting hacked to oblivion. Giannis with the ladder. Yeah, I mean, I think this is just such a stupid thing. It's such a stupid thing. Because, I don't know, doesn't it make a little bit more sense? So, the story is that a Bucks security guard got the ball directly after the game. And there's footage of him getting the ball, so you would think he has it. That's not to say that the Pacers didn't go up to him afterwards and were like, hey, can we have that ball? Like, our rookie just got his first points. That could have happened for sure. Which player was Carlisle talking about? Who elbowed the other guy? Yeah, and then Rick Carlisle went on in his press conference, said that there was like a scuffle and his GM got elbowed in the ribs. But we don't know who did it. I don't know. I think this is all hilarious. The Pacers and Bucks seem to have like a legitimate rivalry brewing, and I'm here for it. I love the random rivalries that you wouldn't really expect. Like the Suns Mavericks, I guess like you could kind of see that one coming. Just because of the whole like, oh, the Suns could have drafted Luka and they didn't. But that turning into a legit rivalry kind of came from left field. This one is fun. I kind of like it. Yeah, so basically, Oscar Tshiebwe, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's the guy who scored his first official NBA points last night. I guess he scored in the game against the Lakers in the in-season tournament. But that doesn't actually count in the record books. So this was, for all intents and purposes, his first points. Yeah, Bobby Portis got ejected in this game. I mean, a lot of shit went down. But again, I'm going to talk about this game in a video later today, so I'm not like trying to blow my load too early. Does the NBA never use multiple basketballs in a game? They shoot around with like 100. There's like a reserve ball, so if something happens to the ball that they're using, like something gets spilt on it or whatever, then they can replace it. There was a Lakers game recently. I don't remember which game it was, where a drink got spilt on the ball and they wanted to replace it, but LeBron didn't want them to replace the ball. He wanted them to keep using the ball. Lakers and Warriors. Yeah. I mean, NBA balls are obviously different than any of the basketballs we'd be using, unless you have an NBA ball. Those are like $180. So, there's like a noticeable difference when you've been using a ball a decent amount. There's a noticeable difference versus when you haven't been using a basketball. And Giannis said that the ball that he had didn't feel like the game ball. And people were laughing at him about that. But honestly, he would know. They gave him the backup ball 100%. They might have. I mean, who knows? It's also possible that they don't fucking know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the official NBA ball is $180. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I short sold it. It's actually $229. Well, $200 here on Wilson.com. I could get one at Walmart for $20. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you should be buying an authentic NBA basketball. It's just really done. I mean, you can get exactly what, like, I'm sure it's probably a little bit better, but also at the same time, if you're spending that much money on a basketball, like, it's one of those things. It's almost like when you spend a lot of money on shoes or something, you don't even want to use them. You don't want to fuck them up. What's y'all's go? I mean, pretty much everyone has the Wilson Evolution basketball, right? I mean, that's like the one whenever you go play pickup. Everyone has the Wilson Evolution. The Evo one, the Wilson Evo one, that one's supposed to be like the best one. That one's like $80. Yeah, it is $80, but I do think it's worth it. If you play like a good amount, it's definitely worth it. It's better than the alternatives. I actually saw this once. I saw somebody, I don't know whose it was, but I just saw it at like my local rec center. There was an Amazon Basics court or Amazon Basics basketball, like off in the corner. It said Amazon Basics on it. Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. When I used to play 3 times a week inside, I bought like a $70 ball. It was later stolen. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that shit. It's pretty easy to steal basketball. I mean, you just walk away with it, and if someone says something to you, you're like, "Oh my bad, I thought this was my ball." Not that I've never done it, but I'm just saying, like, you better keep an eye on your shit. Yeah, if I'm not using my ball, it's zipped away in my bag. One guy stole my shit tonight. Yeah, one time somebody had my basketball. And I was like, "Hey, that's my ball," and he said, "Yeah, what are the initials on it?" And I told him it. And I was like, why the fuck do you even need to ask me that? Like, it's clearly not your ball. Just give it to me. I feel like Giannis. I sprinted after him. Initials? Yeah, I mean, you don't put your initials. Your ball. What up, B-Dot? Did we talk about indefinite means for Draymond? No, we were talking about Giannis, and then we have sidetracked pretty significantly. I can't afford to sidetrack. I want these shows to be quick, hour-long, quick little hour hitters. I can't afford to sidetrack, yet my brain just works in mysterious ways. Okay. So Draymond suspended indefinitely by the league. We talked about this yesterday. I thought he would get 20. It's very possible he gets. It's funny, the reactions to this was like people who were like assuming that this meant that he's not going to play for like 50 games and who are like, this is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe he's getting suspended this long. And then there was also people who assume that this means he'll be suspended for 5 games. I am of the belief it'll be on the shorter side. I really am. What's interesting, though, what is interesting about this is that Draymond has to go to counseling. Wait, who tweeted that part? Was that Shams? Shams is the best in the industry. He's just way better in every facet. Just way better in every facet. than Woj. Shams at least has some personality. Expected to receive counseling and work with the Warriors and NBA while suspended after striking Phoenix's Yusuf Nurkic in the head. So he does have to go to counseling. Kevin Durant, after this game, was talking about it and pretty much said the same thing Nurkic said, which was like, I hope he gets the help that he needs. Like, people are treating him like he's a heroin addict. Kind of funny. But it does kind of seem like people around the league are kind of aware. Kevin Durant, I hope he gets the help that he needs. It does kind of feel like people around the league kind of know that there's something going on with Draymond. So whatever's going on with Draymond, I do hope he figures it out. I wonder if Shams and Woj secretly have beef. Of course they have beef, man. Are you kidding me? Woj, from all accounts, seems like one of the more petty people there is. So of course he has beef with Shams. The new upcoming hotshot, who's just better than you, right? People aren't tuning in to see what Woj has to say. Granted, people aren't really tuning in to see what Shams has to say. But Shams is like unquestionably more, charismatic. Like if Shams pops up on a show, I'm like, okay, let's hear what Shams has to say. If Woj pops up on a show, it's like, dude, just fucking tweet this information out, please. I don't want to listen to you. Anyways, very interesting stuff. I'm leaning this will be on the shorter side, and I tweeted out joking that he'll direct his own TNT miniseries. He'll direct his own TNT miniseries. And be back after Christmas. And I'm actually not joking. I actually think that that's gonna be what happens. I think that this gets milked into some form of content, whether that's for his podcast or it's on TNT. Is he still like partnered with Turner? Anyways, they're gonna turn this into some form of content, and he'll be back sooner rather than later. That's just how I envision it happening. That's what happened with the Jordan Poole thing. He punched Jordan Poole in the face, and then it turned into some TNT documentary shit. Advice, my friend has a gambling addiction that's ruining his life. Any advice? If you're being serious, point him to gambling addiction hotlines. Gambling addiction could legit ruin your fucking life. If you're not being serious, joking, haha, tell him to make a 9-leg parlay tonight, and it'll save his life. He's going to blame the dynasty and having long season after long season wearing on his mental health. No, I don't think that's what's going to happen. If I had to guess, what I would guess happens is he says, I'm an emotional player. This is what you get. This is what you get. This is what you get whenever you have me on your team. He's pretty much all said this in the past. I don't apologize for any of my actions. I play hard. Sometimes my emotions get the better of me, but I wouldn't be who I was as a player if I didn't, play through my emotions. It'll say some shit like that. So have you talked about the Wizards relocation? I haven't. I honestly haven't looked too much into it. I mean, I had family that used to live in. I have family that used to live in Washington, D.C., but in reality, they lived in Virginia. So I don't know. I don't know how far away this is from like where D.C. is right now. Is this just like the same thing as a stadium relocating to the suburbs, essentially? In which case, like, who cares? Northern Virginia is basically D.C. Yeah, I mean, that's like what most of these stadiums now are so fucking massive that like there's not a lot of room in downtown areas for them. Is the sad reality. I wish there was. It's good slightly. Why not live on YouTube as well? I'm not too much. Too much content does not make YouTube happy on the algorithm. So yeah, I mean, so it would be this almost the same thing as the Mavericks moving to Irving, right? Like it's still in the area, just a different place. I can't believe OKC residents voted to pay for a stadium for a billionaire. Yeah, I mean, they bid him over. I mean, especially in Oklahoma City, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to lose your only professional sports team? Like, of course not. Your team's good now. Like, they've been a part of your city for what, 15, 16 years now? And they were really good. They went to a finals and everything, but then they were really bad and they were tanking, not even for that long, for like 2 years, but you went through all of that just to get to the you went through all of that just to get to this point. Like you're not gonna let them leave. I don't know. OKC is a very passionate fan base. Yeah, they do. I mean, I understand it. It sucks that these fucking billionaires can't pay for their own stadiums and the taxpayers have to do it. It's like I don't even know what it is. It's like a 10-cent increase or something like that in the sales tax. But sports teams do well for the local economy. I think that's true. They do. All right, so the Draymond thing, I don't imagine it being too long. I really would be shocked if it was. The Zach Lowe stuff was interesting. When the Zach Lowe on his podcast said that, I guess kind of hinted that this suspension could either be season lasting or that he doesn't play on the Warriors again after this. And then he walked it back and edited it out. Which was interesting, but I got what he was saying. I didn't think that he was like implying that something was about to happen. So I don't know. The Warriors are just so weird, man. I don't know what they do. I really don't. What does a Draymond trade even look like at this point? So weird. Like, are there teams lining up for Draymond's services at this point? He won't play this year? No, he's going to play this year. That's ridiculous. And I want to say this, too. I don't like every time a suspension comes down or something like that. I saw so many tweets that are like, Miles Bridges is still playing in the league. Josh Giddey's still playing in the league. Like, are we going to do this for every suspension? Because, like, okay, I'm not like defending Miles Bridges. Like, I don't give a fuck at all. What Miles Bridges did, yeah, he probably shouldn't be playing. If it was a normal person, they're probably in jail right now if they didn't have access to, the greatest lawyers in the world with their money. But Miles Bridges did miss an entire season. I know his suspension was technically only 10 games or whatever it was. But he did miss an entire year. That was like baked into it. The Giddey situation is admittedly weird. Like the information that we have at least is just weird at best. I mean, it paints Giddey as a fucking weirdo, but I don't know if something criminal happened there. And then people bring the Kyrie suspension up too. The Kyrie, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the Kyrie suspension a Nets thing? Did the NBA suspend Kyrie or was that the Nets? Yeah, so that's just a different thing entirely. I know you saw this. Who says no? Warriors get Derek Lively, Tim Hardaway Jr. lightly protect the first round pick. Yeah, I don't care. All right. What else happened across the league last night? Yeah, again, I don't know what the hell a Draymond trade looks like. I don't think they would ever do it. It doesn't make sense for them. And how many teams are like lining up to give up? How many teams are lining up to give up real assets for Draymond at this stage, right? I mean, he's still really good. He's still good, but like he's like one more punching somebody in the dick or, you know, elbowing somebody in the face or stomping on someone's chest from like missing an entire season. Bobby Marks said that the NBA suspended Kyrie last night on his video talking about Draymond. I'm pretty certain the Nets did that. That was a Nets suspension, but I could be wrong. You will always get a worse player back than Draymond Green. Dubs won't trade him. Yeah, and he's like, I mean, Zach Lowe put this perfectly on his podcast. Like, he's just perfect for the Warriors system. Like, Draymond would be good somewhere else, but wouldn't be nearly as good. 3 assaults and you're done. Yeah, the 3 strike rule. You're out of here, buddy. We're going back to the 1980s American justice reform. 3 strikes, you're gone. All right, looking around the lead. 76ers beat up on the Pistons. Joel Embiid drops 41 points, doesn't play in the fourth quarter again. Bro, the 76ers schedule is wild. And I kind of feel bad because Embiid's been going fucking crazy, but look at their schedule. Washington, Atlanta, Washington, Detroit. They play Detroit again on Friday. Charlotte, Chicago. Just a crazy stretch of games. Where, I mean, Embiid's been going off 50, 38, 34, 41. What a weird stretch of scheduling. I kind of feel bad because the only reason I even noticed was because these tweets would pop up. Embiid with 45 points in the third quarter. Damn, he's going off again. And then I'd click on the tweet and like the first reply will always be like, against the Pistons again. And it's just like, holy fuck, do they play them in every single game, it feels like? The Pistons are the Wizards every single game. And wouldn't you know, for like a 2-week stretch, yes, that's true. They only play the Pistons. The Pistons, the Wizards, the Hornets, Atlanta. Like some of the worst defenses in the history of the sport. Embiid never moves me no matter what he does. I mean, he's been absurd this season. Like, he's having the best season of his career, which is saying a lot because he just won the MVP. It's funny because before the season started, we did the award predictions on here, and I was like, you're pissing away money if you bet on Embiid. Like, there's no way they give it to Embiid. I still kind of think that. Like, when it comes, like, March, and we're really having these MVP discussions, there's going to be, like, some pushback on the Embiid stuff. Some prominent person's going to be like, hey, are we really going to fucking give it to Embiid again? Because, I don't know. We gave it to him last year, and he deserved it. He was really good in the regular season last year. He's been incredible in the regular season, like, the last 5 years. So we finally gave it to him, right? It was his time. We didn't want to give Jokic 3 in a row. We all kind of said, hey, can Jokic win in the postseason first before we give him 3 straight MVPs, something that's only happened like 2 times in the history of the league. Oh, Jokic wanted to win the finals, right? Okay. But like some prominent person who's going to have some influence and sway on the voting is going to say, hey, can Embiid not diarrhea dog shit himself in the playoffs again before we give him an MVP again? Like, are we really going to give Embiid back-to-back MVPs when this guy has never done fucking anything in the playoffs at all? I know it's a regular season reward, but let's be serious. This stuff matters. It just does. This stuff matters. Narratives always matter. There was a reason why you didn't give Jokic his third one. last year was because, well, we haven't seen him do it in the playoffs. So we've seen Embiid literally do nothing in the playoffs. He's been incredible in the regular season. I want him to have a good postseason run. I really do. Just because I don't know. I feel like the narrative surrounding him will always be really weird if he doesn't. But does he have any MVP moments? Well, I mean, in his defense, like, they've been blowing teams out, and he, like, doesn't play in the game. You know? Same calls don't come in the playoffs, so he won't win as easily. It's definitely a little bit of that, but it's also like he gets doubled and he gets trapped a lot. In the playoffs, he has not responded well to that. He's been pretty good at it this year, passing out of those and playmaking out of those. But like, it's something that he's really struggled with in the playoffs. Blowouts don't count when you play bottom feeders. Well, they do count. They count for the averages. He'll probably lead the league in scoring yet again. I just thought that was funny. Like, what a weird stretch. Pistons twice, Wizards twice, Hornets, Hawks. All in like a stretch of 7 games. Those are like the worst defenders in the sport. Worst defensive teams in the sport. Pelicans blow out the Wizards. I actually watched some of this game because this game was close in the fourth quarter, and then the Pelicans pulled away a little bit. BI had 40. Trey Murphy hit like 4 threes. How many threes? 6 of 7 from deep. He had like 4 or 5 in the fourth quarter from deep. Trey Murphy is bombing those things. People use the argument of him leading the league in scoring when trying to say who's the best scorer in the NBA, when he probably isn't top 5 to me. You don't think Embiid's a top 5 scorer, really? I mean, game on the line. I need a basket. The ball's in Luka's hand. Period. There's no better one-on-one. I need points right now. I don't care what defensive coverage is coming. I want the ball in Luka's hand. He beat the Hornets. Not gonna lie, I didn't watch a single second of this game. I know nothing about what happened in this game. Hawks Raptors. I watched this game. So, fuck, man. They're 5 games under 500, and I think they've lost 5 in a row. Either 4 or 5 in a row. Oh, 5 in a row. Nice. I've been calling the Hawks mid, but dude, they just might be bad. Like, I've been calling this team mid all season. They just might be bad. They just might be a bad basketball team. You get 35 and 17 from your point guard and lose. This is a game after you got 40 from your 6th man and lost. DeJounte Murray's a fucking catastrophe. It's funny because he went 4 of 9 from 3 in this game. Like, that's pretty good. But he had a possession in the 3rd or 4th quarter, I don't remember, where he got the ball, was wide open for 3, didn't shoot it, and elected to take some dog shit shot. God, I don't know, man. I know I bring it up all the time, but I don't know what DeJounte Murray brings. Yeah, they went with an 8-man rotation in this game, too. In December 14th. 8-man rotation. Okongwu knocked down 3 threes. How the fuck do you lose this game? Oh, you can't defend anyone? Oh, okay. Capella, guys. Again, you might look at the box score. Oh, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. Capella is horrific. He is done. He is cooked. Okongwu is not a center. They're in rough shape. They are in rough shape, legitimately. Sadiq Bey is horrible. Like, they're in rough shape. I worry for them. I really do. Bogey's been really good for them. He's been their second best player damn near with Jalen Johnson out. Not really damn near. Like, he's kind of been comfortably their second best player. Like, DeJounte Murray's their fourth best player. How much of that is coaching? So I was thinking about this with the Suns, too. We're going to talk about the Suns here in a second. I saw Suns fans like, what the fuck? Frank Vogel was supposed to be this defensive mastermind. It's like, dude, y'all's defense is built to suck. It's not like the Hawks are, too. It's like, the defense is built to be terrible. This is how I felt last year with Kidd, too, and I got yelled at all the time. And I was like, guys, it's not all Kidd's fault. Like, the Mavericks team last year was built to be horrific on defense and just in general. That's no good. Rockets beat the Grizzlies. I also caught some of this game. Tari Eason is nice. He's nice. We've been knowing that, though. I think I said last year I would trade everybody not named Luka before the Kyrie trade to get Tari Eason. He's nice. He's a winning basketball player. I would love to have him on my team. 25 and 14. Jesus. Some fan bases forget that your players matter. Can't have good defense if you have bad defensive players. Yeah, Nick says this all the time. I've heard other people say it too, but it's true. Like, there's like maybe 10 coaches in the league that actually matter. Like the 5 really good ones and the 5 really bad ones. Outside of that, saying Tari Eason or Tyrese? Tari Eason. I can see how saying it that quickly. Another disaster class performance from Jalen Green. This Rockets team is fun, man. 11-1 at home is crazy. Is Jalen Green a bust? Try to imagine a world in which he turns it around. It would be pretty remarkable if he turned it around. I mean, he's only 21. There's just a lot of historic NBA stuff that just says if you're this inefficient at this stage in your career, very rarely does it turn around in any real significant way. And that that 2021 NBA draft class, this was supposed to be kind of a loaded draft. Cade Cunningham, number 1 overall pick. He's quickly approaching to bust territory. And that pains me because I want Cade to be good badly. But just like for number 1 picks, as far as number 1 picks goes, he's quickly approaching bust territory. Number 1 picks are supposed to change your franchise forever. That's not his fault, though. It's not all his fault, but he's also been bad. I mean, there's just, at a certain point, you got to call it what it is. Jalen Green. Mobley's good, but he hasn't become what some of us expected. Scotty Barnes has been great. Scotty Barnes is a star in the making, for sure. I actually think Scotty Barnes would go first overall in a redraft here. Suggs is turning into a really solid player. Suggs at 5. I think you're okay if you draft a player like Jalen Suggs 5th overall. Giddey, Minga, Franz, great. Davion, Zaire Williams. Damn, that's a tough top 10. James Bouknight, Josh Primo, yikes. Chris Duarte. Holy shit, this is a tough top 13. This is a tough top 13. Moody at 14 is okay. Yeah, that's decent. Kispert's not terrible. Kispert looks like an NBA player. Şengün obviously is a great pick. Trey Murphy's a great pick. Trey Mann. Kai Jones. Jalen Johnson, great pick. Keon Johnson. Isaiah Jackson. Garuba, Josh Christopher, Quentin Grimes for 25. At 25, that's all. Bones Highland. Damn. This was like, that's like a tough top 13. I mean, that's brutal. How many of like only two of these guys, three of these guys are maybe meeting expectations? Four? Mobley, okay, we're cool with. Scotty, we're good with. Jalen Suggs, we're good with. Franz. So four of the top 13. And like Zaire Williams is a fucking disaster. He's horrible. James Bouknight out of the league. Is he on a team? He's still on the Hornets, isn't he? Josh Primo, damn near out of the league. Chris Forte, not very good. Davion Mitchell, Kings fans want him traded. Yeesh. Was Laravia in this draft too? Aldama for the 30th overall pick time. I say Laravia because I was watching this game. Oh, Jake Laravia. I don't think Jake Laravia is an NBA player. It's weird to say. I think this is going to be a good thing for the Grizzlies in the long term. I just do. You're weeding out, like Zaire Williams isn't an NBA player for you. He's not somebody who should be in your future plans whatsoever. So you need to fix that. You need to address whatever role you thought Zaire Williams was going to fit into. He's not going to. So you need to figure out how you can replace that. Whatever role you foresaw Jake LaRavia sort of situating himself into, it's not going to happen. So boom, you can move on from that. Even like somebody like David Roddy, who I don't know. I don't know if he's shown enough at this point. And, Bane gets some time to develop as sort of a lead ball handling guy. Jaren Jackson Jr. gets time to develop as a number one offensive guy. Guys like Vince Williams Jr. show you that they can play. So I think the Grizzlies have dug themselves a little too deep of a hole to get out of. 11 games behind 500. With how many more left? 3? I mean, Ja's right around the corner. He'll be playing next week. You got to find something to be happy. Yeah, Ja will be back next week. He's talking to the media today, apparently. I mean, the Grizzlies will definitely be better with Ja, but I don't think they're going to be making any real. We already talked about this crazy Bucks Pacers game. Lakers and Spurs. This is the type of Spurs game, right? This is the game that I thought we'd be getting consistently, where they're competitive and you could see it. There's flashes of great. There's flashes of greatness. You could see like they're a couple of players away, some more key developments away from maybe making a real life like playoff push next year. And Wemby looks incredible. Unfortunately, we haven't seen like too many of those games. But damn, last night's game, that was fun. Wemby, dude, he gets hot from 3. He's been everything defensively that you were hoping for. He's like a defensive player of the year level player. Is all defense positionless? Or are they keeping positions for all defense? Because Wemby's gonna make a real life all defensive team put. This team can be fun, man. It can. But they're on, what is it now? 18 game losing streak? I mean, we're getting very close to 2 20 game losing streaks at the same time. 18th straight loss. They got the Lakers again tomorrow night. And the Pelicans on Sunday. That could easily be a 20 game losing streak. Okay, I'm gonna be perfect for Vic. That really would be nice. That would be nice. The Pistons, what are they at now? I'm standing on business. I think the Pistons beat the Hawks on Monday. I think that's the end of their losing streak. I think they beat Atlanta. I see it written stars. They're not going to beat the Sixers again. Embiid's going to have 78 points by halfway through the third quarter. They'll lose to the Bucks. I think they beat Atlanta. Truthfully, I do. I think that's where it ends. What's the longest losing streak of all time? 27? Is that what it was? Okay, well, here we go. What's the record? 26. 26 is the longest losing streak ever. They're at 21 right now. Can they break the record? The Utah one's interesting. Mavs don't play the Pistons again until, or they don't play the Pistons until March 9th. That would be like a 40, 50 game at that juncture. Who wins, Pistons or Bobcats? Oh, Pistons. They're like, just weird because they are kind of talented. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how it's gotten this bad, man. I really don't. I really don't. Knicks Jazz. Honestly, I didn't really watch much of this game either, so I don't know what happened. But the Jazz beat the Knicks. Knicks just continue to be one of the weirder teams in the league. Nets and Suns. All right, let's end it off talking about this. Nets and Suns. The debut for the Big Three ends, ironically enough, in a loss against the Brooklyn Nets, the team that employs Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, the two players you traded away to get Kevin Durant. Yep, Spencer Dinwiddie has himself a great game, just impacting the game in a bunch of different ways. Like Cam Thomas played well. Their whole starting five played well. Cam Johnson played well. Cam Thomas is such a funny player. Like his jump shot is so funny. I don't know how you're not just completely gassed by your second jump shot jumping that high. That's why these guys are NBA athletes. So the Suns. Not going to jump to any crazy conclusions off of this one game, obviously. It weirdly feels like these big threes almost always lose their first game, or at least look like really disappointing early on before figuring it out. And I guess that makes sense when you have like this many guys and you're trying to figure out the hierarchy and stuff like that. Beyond all of that, fuck all of that. If I'm a team that can run an effective pick and roll, like if I can just spam high pick and rolls, I have the ball handlers to do it. I have the roll men to do it. I'm licking my chops at the idea of playing this Suns team in the playoffs. Like, I am licking my chops. I'm rubbing my hands together like Birdman at the thought of playing this team in a 7-game series where I can just exploit the shit out of Yusuf Nurkic over and over and over and over and over and over and over until inevitably he has to be pulled from the game. That's how it's going to have to go. It's like, it would be like the Mavericks against the Clippers a few years ago where Zubats got played off the floor 10 minutes into the series. That would have to be how it goes. I'm putting Nurkic in a pick and roll endlessly. You want to switch it? You want to hide Nurkic? That's all right. We're finding whoever the fuck Nurkic is on. He's coming to set a screen. Nurkic, you're going to be involved in this pick and roll, and you're going to get absolutely torched every single time. He is horrible on defense, man. Horrid. Like, terrible. And they know that. They literally sacrificed their defense. What was left of their defense, at least, to win games offensively, to win games in shootouts. So that's what they signed up for. And, man, it'll be tough. It'll be tough in a playoff setting. That's tough. That's tough. Especially when your shot diet is as difficult as the Suns is. Like, one poor shooting game, and you're fucked. You do not have the defense to survive a poor shooting game. You look at Nurkic's box score, man. 15 points, 22 rebounds. The Nets cannot rebound. The Nets cannot. Claxton does a lot of things well. He does not rebound well. Like, he was at Nurkic's mercy on the glass last night. But man, defensively it's rough. It really is. But again, I don't want to jump to too many conclusions. I mean, if these three guys are healthy, they'll be good. They'll be good enough offensively to win a lot of games. They are. I think it's actually 2-7 against teams over 500 right now. I think they're undefeated against teams below 500. But hey, that'll get you into the playoffs, and then you can figure it out from there. 11-3 against teams below 500, 2-8 against teams above 500. So I don't know. With how many injuries they've dealt with and the fact that it's a completely new team, pretty much, I think you're okay with it. That's how I feel about them. I'm like genuinely licking my chops at the idea of, again, if I have the personnel, the Mavericks are favorites. What? Yeah, they think maybe Ant and McDaniels. Interesting. So Mavs Timberwolves tonight, number 1 seed in the Western Conference, tied for the best record in the NBA, going up against the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. Should be fun. Should be fun, man. I'm excited. Obviously, don't think the Mavericks match up well against the Timberwolves, but they're capable of winning. I mean, the Mavericks can beat anybody any given night. Excited to see how this works out. It'll probably be pretty similar to the Lakers, where, hey man, if the role guys are knocking down threes, you got a really good chance of winning. That's just it. Your role guys are knocking down threes. They're going to play aggressively, especially if like McDaniels is out. They're going to be playing very aggressively on Luka. Maybe if McDaniels plays, they don't. Maybe they try to avoid trapping or blitzing Luka. Do you guys see that crazy stat about Luka with the blitzing? Why don't you want to watch Easton Stick versus Aiden O'Connell on Thursday Night Football? I don't even know who the fuck those people are. Like, I'm not even saying that from a comedic standpoint. I don't know who those people are. So Luka Doncic has been blitzed 140 times this season. The second most is Cade Cunningham at 62. Wow. That's actually insane. I'm interested in this article. Do they say anything about how efficient the Mavericks offense is when he gets blitzed on pick and rolls? Like, are they really great when they do it, or what? Does it work? Does it not work? I'd love to know. I'm getting ready to use that 3-letter word, man. Or I guess it's not a 3-letter word. I'm getting ready to use those 3 letters when it comes to Luka, though. I really am. I've been holding back a little bit on it. I'm getting ready to use those 3 words, those 3 letters. 3.5 points per possession when Luka's blitz. That's not fucking possible. They're getting 4-point plays every possession. Maxey, Josh, Hardy work cap-wise for Lowry. Oh, brother. No. Markkanen is a star. And it'll be like a four first-round pick package for him. Especially if he's available, a team like the Thunder, who has 1 trillion draft picks, they would be fucking stupid to not go all in for Markkanen. Like, he's perfect for them. Mavericks have 0 shot in any market. You guys thinking small we're getting LeBron? Hey, man. I don't think the Jazz would trade Markkanen. Again, unless they get some, like, insane return. Istok pointed out the Wolves are also #1 blitzing team. All right, well, this will be interesting. If the Mavericks roll guys hit their shots, they'll have a good chance again. That's just really what it comes down to. Yeah, it needs to be a good 3-point shooting night for the Mavericks. Obviously, the Timberwolves have the best defense in the NBA. I was looking at these stats yesterday on cleaning the glass. The Mavericks have the best offense in the league against top 10 defense. So, this is why people don't watch the Mavs. Like, they poo-poo a lot of things. Like, no, this team is built for the playoffs. They always kind of have been. They're not some fucking gimmick offense. They're not an offense that's easy to beat or slow down. They're going to get the shots they want to get no matter who they're playing. Like, that's what Luka Doncic brings to the table. It doesn't matter what team they're playing. It doesn't matter the defense. It doesn't matter how many people you're even sending at him. Luka's gonna get the shot he wants to get, whether it's himself or his teammates. Ryan Russillo was gritting his teeth having to compliment Luka versus the Lakers. I was listening to that. Only because it had Mavericks in the title. I don't really listen to Ryan Russillo podcast anymore because I don't like college football or the NFL. Just hearing the same exact thing said over and over again. But I did listen to that. He kept bringing up the fact that the Mavericks, he was like counting the passes the Mavericks. #29th in passing. Yeah, he kept saying that. Like, who gives a fuck? Is that like a stat that actually translates to anything? At all? I don't know. I don't know. People who criticize dude, the Mavericks offense is always good. And Luka's career, it's always been absolutely elite. Like, it's always elite. It's always like the best half-court offense in the NBA. They've performed anytime they've lost in the playoffs. It is never, in the Luka era at least, it has never been because of the offense. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would get, if the Mavericks offense was struggling, I would get looking at it and being like, hey man, do we switch some stuff up? Like, we're not moving the ball that much. But I mean, the thing is when you have great isolation players like Luka and Kyrie, defenses break down without having to pass the ball. Like, the idea is you get the ball moving a bunch and you swing the ball around, defenses are rotating, and inevitably, ball moves faster than man. You're going to get it out to a guy before a guy can rotate, or someone's going to miss a rotation and you're going to get a great look, right? But when you have a guy in Luka who generates so many mismatches just by being him and gets so much attention goes towards him anytime he dribbles the ball or even touches the ball, boom, you're already, like, defense is already in rotation immediately. You don't need to be fucking swinging the ball around. Luka can hold the ball for 16 seconds. He'll drive. All right, the entire defense is in the paint. Boom, we have wide open shooters in the corner. Anytime the Mavs lost in the playoffs, someone always points out the Mavs won shot quality. Role players just keep missing them. Yeah, by like the shot quality scores, the Mavericks won all 5 games against the Warriors. Of course, the shots didn't go down. That's why you play the game. So I don't know. I always thought that was weird. Like, who gives a shit? The whole ISO ball thing. I would get it if their offense was bad, or like Tommy said, like if they fell apart in the playoffs. But that has yet to happen. So that'll be a fun game tonight. Cavs Celtics. I would like to say that sounds like a fun game, but there's just nothing fun with the Cavs right now. Bulls Heat feels like these games are always weird. Bulls have been really frisky lately, so could be fun. Nets Nuggets. Jazz Blazers. Thunder Kings. That's fun. Warriors and Clippers. When was the last time the Thunder played? Feels like it's been a while. Monday? All right. All right, guys. I'm going to work on a video. I'll post on the channel here in a bit about the Giannis thing. And then I'll be live on YouTube later tonight for the Timberwolves and Mavericks at 7:30. Oh, okay. You guys want to buy tickets? Here you go. $20. What about courtside, huh? Yeah, this is what I'm talking about right here. $525. Put it on my tab. How do you even go about getting courtside tickets? Can you even buy those? How long until your prediction of Don Mitchell to the Nets comes to fruition? Telling you guys, man. I saw it. I saw it written in the stars a million miles away. Anyway, same time tomorrow morning. You know the drill.